Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bullspend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had: impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everyone. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to remind you that my book, Drummers on Drumming, is available now on Amazon as both a paperback and an ebook. Based on the Big Fat 5 segment of this podcast, where I sit down with my favorite drummers to discuss the 5 records and stories that shaped their approach to the instrument, this book is packed with insights from the drummers who redefined how we think about the modern drum set. You can grab your copy now by checking the link in this episode's show notes or simply searching Drummers on Drumming on Amazon. So thank you for all the support, and now let's get into the show. What is up? Welcome back to Drummers on Drumming, a podcast powered by Big Fat Snare Drum. My name is Ben Hilsinger, and we're back with another installment of The Drum Panel. This week we have my co-host, Eric Urea, and Gunnar Olsen. He's out with Puscifer right now, and I think this is one of my favorite episodes. So have a fun time. Cheers. So Gunnar, I know you talked about this on your Instagram, but can you summarize briefly what you were talking about that drum fill?
Oh yeah, I posted this thing, and it's the quick version is played a gig the other night, and there's a few like complicated, there's a few songs in 5s and 7s that I've gone a little tripped up on a few times this tour, where like I'm in the moment and like next thing I know, like I played over the bar line or something. It's hard to not beat yourself up about that stuff, but there's one song we've been playing forever that has this big fill. Just naturally, like the fill has been evolving this tour, but I never thought about what it actually has evolved into. It's been like a muscle memory, just like it's just how it feels. And I was like so in the zone in this show, and I was like, the fill was coming up, and in my head I'm like, originally it's just a snare fill, and at the end of it I've kind of been going to the toms. And so right before it happened, I had that moment. Like, have you ever had a moment where you're like, you look down and you see all your limbs doing a different pattern, and you're like, how am I doing this?
Yes, I can't relate more to that.
Yeah, and right before the drum fill happened, I was like, in my mind I was like, okay, so I've been doing the snares, and then I go to the toms, and the song's in 5, and as I started doing the fill, I started thinking like, wait, do I go to the toms on the 4th and 5th? Like, it just turned into a thing where I did the fill, and I think I probably played the fill in 6, but we're in 5. Like, just one of these moments, I went over the bar line, and
if there's ever a band to do that stuff with, it's Puscifer.
Well, and also on that song, like, some people feel like it's cheating, but like I like a really fast click, like a really fast subdivision. The song is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, but in my ears I'm hearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, like really.
I don't think that's cheating. It's like playing with a percussionist.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like drum teachers talking about like when you're really learning something, like give yourself less subdivision to like, I don't know. I mean, all the like pros I talk to are like, yeah, like I have songs I play that have like shaker loops and
Sure.
I find that freeing because I end up being less busy if I'm hearing the subdivision and not adding extra ghost notes and stuff that like help me feel it.
Who's the purist? Like that would be like, I can't believe you do something that helps you out. It's like, what?
Right.
What?
Yeah, I mean, and to be clear, I agree. Like, I think just like set yourself up to succeed. Mm-hmm. But when I did a fill in 6 and a song in 5, and it's so I go over the bar line, and then I just have no idea where the 1 is. And the trick in Puscifer is, we all have our own counts, we all have clicks, but our singers on some songs have a guide vocal in their ear, so they know where they're at. So it's almost like they can sing to themselves if they want to. And I don't know if it's like Maynard has that or I know somebody has that. So the kind of foolproof thing in this band is if you get off, the singers will always be in the right place because they hear a track of it. So it was literally like I went off the rails, I'm playing like, oh my God, but it's like a good like 2 seconds before the vocal came in. So I went over the bar line, I'm just kind of flailing, my eyes are closed, I'm just like waiting for the vocal, and then I have to like in real time turn wherever the beat I think is at, which I already know is wrong at that point because I'm off the grid. I just like, and then I have to recalibrate to them. And, it's just one of those things. It's happening. I walk, we had this break right after it. I walk off the stage kind of like, just like shock and it's like, I've just never fucked up that fill before. But I had this like feeling of like embarrassment. Like, there's 4,000 people watching us. And I just walk off stage and I'm just like, oh my God. It just, that feeling. It just feels so bad. It feels like everyone's pointing at you and you suck. And like, I see Dave Hill, our opener, and he could just tell and he's like, you okay? And I was like, oh, I fucked up. And of course he just goes, I didn't hear anything, And then I walk backstage and I see Matt and Josh, bassist and guitarist, and they were like, that was awesome, dude. We were just waiting to see how you got out of that. Then Karina, our singer, was like, what happened? We were like waiting for you to come backstage so we could like make fun of you, with the notion of like, I don't really fuck up too often. So like, it was almost like a bonding moment. Everyone was like, yeah, you fucked up. And, my first thought was like, we go back out after this intermission and I'm not going to take any risks. I'm just going to like play the record. And then I just had this realization like, well, wait a minute. I already fucked up. The show is already, in my eyes, not perfect. So like, why go out there and like punish myself? I really feel like the audience can sense if your head is in the game. And I was like, well, these people paid good money and they want to have fun. Like, why should they look up on stage and see me like in a bad mood? Or like, in the greater scheme of things, like, I've gone to shows and seen my favorite bands fuck up and have to start songs over again. And I've always just loved that. I love seeing like humanity of like the people you're going to see and like see like someone fuck up and someone laugh about it. I don't know, it just got me thinking to this bigger thing where like everything is so perfect. All the videos we see on Instagram are just like the best moment of the night, like, or this like exercise you're working on and the best take of it. And there's the whole AI thing, and like all the clips I was seeing from Coachella were just like sounded like records and almost could have just been like mimed. And I don't want like the evolution of humanity in music to be perfect. Like I don't want to go to a show and it sounds like someone played Spacebar. A great compliment about our shows is that it sounds like the record, right? We have a really great sound guy, Sean Bevan. He mixed the first 2 Nine Inch Nails records. He's just a fucking monster. And I do want our shows to sound like, quote unquote, like perfect, amazing, but I want that to be like the production and the sounds of things. But I still want it to sound like people are on stage. I almost feel like it's good if we fuck up a little bit because people are reminded, oh, they're this good and they're actually doing it. I don't want there to be this sense of like, oh, it's so good, so maybe they're faking it. I don't know. That's just in my own head. But it was just a very freeing moment. And I just had this thought, like, what if I just like make a post about this on Instagram? Like, I never talk to the camera, but I was like, I bet there's like a bunch of people that like could resonate with this and just remind all of us, like, embrace the fuck up, just like don't let it ruin your night if possible, because we've all had that. We've all fucked up, and then like you write the show off. You're like, oh, this show sucks, I fucked up. Just life is too short for that, man. Like, it's just, that was kind of the essence of what I was talking about on Instagram.
How did that fill go the next night? I feel like that's the thing that I probably run into the most, is when I get that like awakening moment. I'm like, oh shit, I better not wake up the next show in the same spot,
Well, the next night was, I had also posted that, and like the fill was coming up, and I was like, oh fuck, like I made such a big deal about this fill, and I was like, okay, I'm definitely playing the fill as written. Like, I'm just doing the snares. Joe, my text, said he claims after I did the fill, he heard people cheer. But I don't actually think that many people follow me on Instagram. But
You saw little signs like "Go Gun Buns."
Yeah. Well, and then what's funny, the show after that, I play one of those CS Dots snare heads, and at the beginning of that song, I could tell that the glue was coming off. So the bottom, the circle started it starts like disappearing.
Yes.
Right.
Bye, buddy.
Yeah. And we're playing like Red Rocks, and I'm like so fucking in it. Like, it was an amazing show. Like, it was the first time Puscifer sold out Red Rocks, and like my girlfriend and dad were there. It was just like, I was so present. I was just like, fuck it. And like, we're playing that song, and I see like the circle disappearing. And by the time I got to the fill, like the circle was gone. Like my head had detuned probably like, half an octave. And I was able to like, just like laugh it off and be like, yeah, I'm playing so hard tonight. I'm like breaking my drum head. But, if it was one of those things where like, again, like if I was in my mental head and I saw the drum head breaking, that could have taken me out of it. But I was like, I was like, nah, this is fucking awesome. Like, I can just tell Joe to bring a spare. Or he actually, like, we had intermission, so he just he just put on a new head because he's a fucking awesome tech. Yeah, the fill's been good ever since. I'm sure for the rest of this tour it'll be a little on my mind, but I like that. I like having those moments of like, you're playing a show with lights on you, but it feels like the lights are a little brighter for a moment. You're like, gotta do it.
Yep.
I love that shit. So.
Yeah, I have a section in the song Amphetamines by Eve 6 where it's kind of the bridge breaks down, then it slowly builds back up into me doing this dabbo boom, dabbo boom, dabbo boom, dabbo boom, da, and then it goes into the last chorus, and it's just me inflaming, just huge bombast, and I've never fucked it up, but it gets in my head every time, and that's my favorite song to play, so it doesn't get in the way of me enjoying the song, but it's just that moment's like, is tonight the night? Do you have a song like that, Eric?
For sure. Quite a few.
Every song?
No, it's funny. When I was out with La Armada, we're like playing some new material, and it was funny because there's this like super heavily constructed riff with this really intricate drum part, and like writing it, I was like really meticulous about it, and I was like, I know, like I could write it out on a sheet paper if I wanted to, and then for whatever reason, like in the middle of the tour, it just got like blurry, for lack of a better word, where I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like kind of flailing for it.
You got the
and then it like came around again where it was like, okay, now I'm locked in. It's just this pattern and I'm fine. Yeah, it's the yips. It's just weird how it kind of comes in and out of focus on certain things.
Yeah, there's a few songs where like I have two snare drums on songs, and like I was playing a song the other night and I was just like, I don't remember what snare I play this part on. And I've played it for 25 shows and never thought about it. It was so weird. I was just like, I'm gonna try this one. The other thing, I love a set list where there's this, there's a songs like every night, like, okay, there's a handful of songs where like like here we go. But I love the songs that are a little, I don't want to say easier, but there's like the songs in the set where like, oh, when I get to this song, I can take a breath. I can look
Mm-hmm.
out at the crowd. I can kind of coast a little bit and like really just like, if I had a moment of weirdness, I know I can kind of reset during Bullet Train to Iowa, which is one of our songs. So like, that's like a mid-tempo. I mean, it's not easy, but it's like something about that song. Whenever we get there, it's almost like I can take a deep breath and just kind of either reset or be like really present in the moment. And like, I don't have a lot of time to look out at the crowd for like the first 10 songs. I'm so like, and I just love those songs where, like this is one where I can kind of like either redeem myself or really like be in the moment, be present, like look around the room, try to like make eye contact with the other band members, which is something that's so important. Like the best shows are where we're looking around and we're laughing, or like just like it's a nice reset moment in the set for me. I love that.
I wrote down Gunnar's autobiography should be called I Can Finally Relax on the Bullet Train to Iowa. I'd pick up that book. Yeah, with Eve 6, it's Here's to the Night is my moment, because that song is just floor tom, boom, cat boom, boom the whole time. And I think of the fact that was one of my slow dance songs when I was in middle school, where the guys would finally come to the other side of the gymnasium as the women, And it's just like, oh, this is my band now. That's actually the song right before the one I was just saying that stresses me the hell out, Amphetamines. So what do you guys think is and you can take this any way you want, what do you guys think is the next logical step for your drumming?
For me, I always have a pretty specific setup with Puscifer, but the way I have this setup on this tour is all of my crash cymbals are to my right, just because on my left side I have like this percussion tree of stuff, and I have like a rolling pad, and I have this like chain trigger I'm hitting. So like I thought it would be cool to like, almost in the way that I assume John Stanier has like the crash really high, I was like, there's not a need for a ton of crash cymbals in a lot of Puscifer songs. So I was like, I'll have all my stuff on the right if I need it, but like nothing on my left to just kind of have that reflex of like hitting a crash over here. But I've always had some kind of crash to my left, even if it's the far left. And there's so much muscle memory in a lot of these songs where like I just either naturally want to, I like to finish fills. Sometimes if it's da 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 crash, I like to do like right, left, right, and then hit the left crash. Like there's just a lot of songs that feels really nice, and there's a bunch of older songs in the catalog that I've had to relearn that I don't have a crash on my left side, and I had to be really deliberate when I play a crash. And there's even been times like the first couple shows I went to do a crash on the left, and like there's like this like tiny little like metal thing to hit. I'm just like like oh fuck. I'm personally looking forward to like after this tour setting up like just like the Ringo kit. I miss a little of like, you know, I've been playing the drums for like, I don't know, 30 something years. Like I'm looking forward to having like a simple kit again, and not like something that like uses so much mental energy. So I don't know, I feel like that's my quick answer, is like I'm looking forward to like not playing a drum kit that's hard to play.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Eric?
I think for me, I'm starting to realize that I've been really focused on the same drum tones, and I feel like I have my drum tones really dialed in, but I feel like I'm in a place where I'm like really good at like one drum tone, and I really want to start focusing on just kind of broadening that a little bit, you know, expanding my tuning experimentation.
Do you think that means studio or live or both?
A little bit of both. I think for the most part, like in a live sense with the bands that I play with, it makes sense, and I'm really proud of the tones that I bring to those bands. So I guess it's probably more studio sense. Like I want to have a little bit more versatility, you know. I don't want to have like 3 different snare drums, but they're all tuned the same way. Yeah. You know? And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm like, oh, I'm really good at like, you know, having a snare drum that cracks. I kind of want one that goes like, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I know a company that helps you do that without even having to learn how to tune.
You know what? You're right. That's
Well, I think that's a good point, Ben. I feel like a lot of us probably started home recording around a similar time, like just before COVID. A lot of us probably really dove in during COVID because what else could we do?
Yeah.
And I'm sure all of us have probably, you know, Eric, I can see your space right now. Like all of us probably have smaller rooms. So you tend to kind of lean towards a little more of a dampened sound. So for a long time, I only felt comfortable getting sounds if I had at least like, you know, a Big Fat Snare Drum, sure, on the snare, but like, I feel like I got really comfortable at like sounds pretty, not dead, but like on the more muffled side of things. And whenever I would be in a situation where I would have like nothing on my toms, nothing on my snare, I just didn't know how to do it. I felt like I didn't understand overtones, and that felt like kind of like a weakness I had, like where like a producer would be like, oh, can you like open up the drum sound a little bit more? And unfortunately, a lot of that means a lot of the time, like ideally having a bigger room than I had, right? It's like, I feel like with a smaller room, you're going to get a better sound with a more muffled sound. You know, in like a small little like 8x11 room, it's really hard to like manage like wide open toms and snares, and if you don't have that natural room decay or really treated room. And my ear has naturally been going to less and less muffling the last couple of years, because I've really tried to intentionally lean into okay, I want my drums to sound good wide open. And I feel like that's a real skill. Like it's a little easier to like, you play a bad house kit. The best option usually is just muffle things if there's wonky overtones. It kind of felt like a crutch to me for a while where like I can get good sounds if they're on the shorter decay, but I keep getting better and better drums, over the years, and like they want to like be more wide open, and it's really like forced me to like understand like the relationship of the tones between the bottom head and the top head, and like how old are my heads. Like that matters so much more, I'm realizing. Like when you start to have more of a sustain and wide open sound. But I think it's a hard thing to do with these smaller rooms that a lot of us have, that we don't get to go to like a power station or like a Ocean Way or like, like in those rooms, anything will sound pretty great. So it is really something you have to work on, but it's also like, it's such a taste thing. It's like, how do you even know I think in my mind, I was like, how do I know this is the right sound? Because my ears are still like learning what it sounds like. I don't know.
Well, then you got to ask, like, for who? The right sound for who? Like,
Yes.
who is this person I'm trying to please that is the god of tone?
The god of tone.
It's the next Metallica album.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Unlock over $3,500 in business and travel value annually with statement credits on select purchases from brands like Dell, Hilton, and Adobe, and other benefits. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Based on total potential value of statement credits on select purchases and other benefits, enrollments required, monthly and other limits and terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
I have something I wanted to, I was thinking at some point I wanted to bring this up.
Yes.
I've been on this tour for a while, so like, tour starts to get a little Groundhog's Day. So you have these, there's the shows, like I just played Red Rocks. Like I can remember almost the whole set. And then you have the shows that are a little more night to night. And some nights it's like, some nights the crowd is like, they're good, like they're happy, but like I'm not getting a ton of energy. I'm not having a particularly like amazing show. Like I think I saw John Mayer talking about this recently. He was saying there's a difference between like giving a great show and having a great show. And I was like, okay, whatever you think about John Mayer, it's a really interesting thought. Like you should always be giving a great show, but if you get to have a great show personally, that's like a bonus, right? And so I know I'm at the point now where I think our band every night is giving a great fucking show. And it's a bonus if I get to walk away like I was in the zone, I had fun, like I was present. But unrelated to that, there's a lot of songs where there's no music, but I'm hearing click, right? And so normally in a band, there's a few different things would happen if you're playing in a band with no tracks. Say it's just the guitar, it's just keyboards. Maybe you're keeping time on your left foot or something. And some bands like you play with and people have such great time. It's like, I don't need to keep anything, like you just play the intro and I come in a minute later. But there's these moments I notice I don't play for 30 seconds or so and I'm hearing click. And sometimes it's really subdivided. And I naturally, not with my hi-hat, but like I'll like just kind of like shake my leg to the beat or like almost like sway to it in my head. And then I had this thought, I was like, is this almost like, I think people probably assume we're on tracks, but I had this moment, I was like, am I almost giving something away by like keeping time like visually to a metronome I'm hearing that an audience member doesn't hear? Like it's one thing if it's like there's a break and Matt's going like da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, like that, I'm just like, fuck yeah. But there'll be moments of like a synth pad or just vocals. Like there's no time happening. And I'm back there like, or keeping time with my left foot. And like I had a thought like early on the tour, I was like, should I be completely still at this moment and not like let on that I'm hearing a click track? Like, are we giving the illusion that we're doing this not to a click track? And so now the last few shows, like if nothing is happening, I've tried to just be like really still and like not move during those moments, because I think it's just kind of a better, like, I like this moment to be stoic and no movement. It was just something I've never heard anybody talk about. You know that scene in Wayne's World where like they're counting down, they're like 5, 4, 3, and they don't say the 2 and the 1. And every time they do it, you see like Wayne and Garth like nodding their heads and counting, and they're like, Wayne, you're counting. You know, like there's something like you're not supposed to let the audience know that this count is happening. And I've just been thinking about that recently at the shows. Like, does this matter if I'm like kind of keeping time to this thing that nobody else but me hears? Like, is that taking away some of like the magic of this music being presented? I don't know.
Well, I mean, sorry, Eric, go ahead.
It's really funny because I actually actively think about this a lot. And I literally have done the same thing where if like the singer's starting the song and it's like super legato, or it's like supposed to have the illusion that like it comes out of nowhere, I will actively like try to not pulse my body in any way.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone ever notices, but it feels good to do. I'm doing my part.
I didn't do fucking shit.
Yeah.
That's me in the back, just like,
exactly.
I mean, I see what you guys are saying, but then there's also the flip side of that coin is everyone's different. And so there's going to be at least a few people in the crowd that, let's just say it's in the bridge and there's like a 16 bar thing where there's a pause where there's no pulse, but you're just in the back still just like jamming. There's going to be a few people in the audience that are wanting to dance the whole time. And you're still giving them a rhythm to where like the whole time they can, because there are some people that in a bridge of a song, they'll be dancing and then the bridge happens and they're going to be, okay, let's wait till the song comes in. Okay, now I want to keep dancing. So maybe there's the few people that really like the fact that you're keeping this going for everyone visually.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends. Like,
sure.
No, I mean, I've never thought about it that way, and I think that's cool too.
That was the verbal participation trophy for me.
No. It's just like I was still thinking about something I wanted to say, which is like the worst kind of way to have a conversation when you're listening to somebody and you're thinking about what you're going to say.
Yeah, it's me always. Yeah,
it's almost a conversation worth having with the band. I feel like, what is our intention? Like, do we want to like not give away the illusion that we are hearing time? But like, I can't imagine anyone coming to the show like being like shocked that we're playing to a click track, you know? So it's like, I don't feel like it's something we're like trying to hide either. If I was playing in a band without a click, I also don't know what I would be doing in a space without it anyways. Like, I might be moving because like I might just want to like, it's almost like giving the audience like, don't worry, it's gonna come back, you know?
Yeah.
It's making them feel safe. I don't know if you ever had like, if you've played a festival, like I've played bigger festivals where there's like camera guys on stage, or like we're filming like a live stream and they'll come over and like they film you, and so it's like, okay, like here I go, and then like they turn the camera away and you're like, okay, I can calm down for a little bit.
Thank God.
But there's been a few times where like the camera comes over me, I'm not playing, and I'm about to play something really cool, so I start like being a little active just so they stay on me, because I'm like, if I'm just perfectly still, they're gonna miss this big like fill that comes out of nowhere. So it's like I'm just like, I start moving my sticks a little bit. I'm like, just
big wind up.
Big wind up.
You know what this reminds me of too is it brings me back to like college doing like classical music recitals, like a solo snare drum piece, and like sometimes people would do like an audible to kind of like keep the tempo, like when they're resting, or they'd like tap their feet and the professor would be like, no, don't do that.
Exactly. I couldn't quite get there mentally, but I was like, I feel like it's almost like there was a time in my life where we were kind of taught to not do that. And I also have so many recordings that I've done that I hear myself doing that ticking, like I don't even know what it is. I've never felt myself or seen myself do it, but it's on so many recordings. Like I could hear myself keeping some kind of mouth time.
That's volume 2 of your autobiography.
Mouth time.
I was playing with a band last year, and they actually asked me to count the band off, even though no one needed it, because they wanted it to, it makes it feel more like a band. If the drummer goes 1, 2, whatever.
I've been doing that on this tour too, Ben. It's funny. Like we play the second to last song we play is one of the more like organic sounding songs. Mm-hmm. And so Matt has a count off and he plays it. And then before the band comes in, I'm just like, I think it sounds cool. I do like 1, 2, 2, 2. I feel like it just gives the vibe of like, oh, we're not playing a crazy synth song in 6. Like we're about to like play kind of like, it's almost like a Americana country sounding song. And I just like, no one's ever told me to do it. No one's ever said anything about it. I just like, it just feels like, it just sounds cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point about talking to the band about how you want to approach it in regards to the nodding and the illusion of the click. But when it comes to how you approach the drums, because I'm in the middle of being nervous about this, because it's the first time we have our first rehearsals this coming Friday with LP. And I've been given by the MD the reference tracks of the live arrangements, and LP's played with a few drummers, and Neil Daniels being one of them, Sterling Laws being another one, friends of the pod, and they have very different styles of playing drums. They all sound amazing, but they're different. And so my biggest thing is the first rehearsal when LP shows up, I don't know what kind of drummer I need to be, where to do fills, how expressive to be on the hi-hat. And they saw me on Instagram, they saw how I play, they've seen live videos, and so they want me to be me, but also in the context of the band. So that's it's not even the arrangements or getting the parts down or fucking up a fill. It's just what kind of drummer I'm going to be, and if it gels with them, or they're going to come over and be like, can you maybe do this? It's just my biggest fear. So would you guys prefer, in a best case scenario, the band is like, this is what we expect? Like, if we had the perfect drummer, he would be this.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's my first thought with that is coming in super prepared, and you're kind of waiting for that moment where you do something and like the artist looks up and like gives you the like, oh, you're doing great. And then you can kind of relax a little bit. When I subbed for A Perfect Circle a few years ago, I was watching a ton of live videos, but they have live videos with both Josh Freese and both Jeff Friedel. And I try to just like watch as much on both sides of it and kind of like know both ways both drummers did it. And then at a certain point, like you're mentioning, like you have live versions with different drummers. At a certain point, I kind of just picked like, oh, I actually like the way Jeff does this. I like the way Josh does this. I know both versions. And then I also have the third option, like I would actually kind of like to do it like this. So like I would probably start the first couple rehearsals like doing a version of what they know, and then picking a few moments like, I kind of think this would be cool like this. And, maybe you don't do it on the first run through. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's like, I love to have as much information going into a rehearsal, like recordings, live versions. And then it's kind of like, I'm kind of choosing what version I want to give them and also my own version. But I like kind of going in there a bit restricted, but at the end of the day, it's going to sound like you, right? And I think it's going to be pretty clear that you're trying and like you put in the time, I think that's a thing a lot of us have to like work on is sometimes a criticism isn't like, it's hard to not take criticism like, oh, well, you suck, you might as well just quit. It's like if you're prepared and you know it really well, and then they can ask you to change something up, then you're in a great position to like, well, I know what I was doing and they want this other option. It's a difference of like, you're not going in there like not knowing the songs and they're like, can you play the right fucking beat? At that point, they're hearing something that maybe you're not, like stuff with like learning Puscifer songs and going in and Matt being like, oh, can you make it less, you're playing the right part, but make it less about the hi-hat part and more about the kick part. Like stuff that like didn't even occur to me. And then like, as soon as I get that feedback, it's like, oh, okay, like I can actually approach this song in a whole different way because I know the muscle memory of the limbs, but let me bring the hi-hat part down like 10% and be mentally thinking about like the kick part being the focus of the beat, right? My answer to what you were saying is like, good luck. and
buckle up.
you're going to be prepared, and like at a certain point, like it is going to come down to a bit of your choices and seeing what they're reacting to. They might love when you do a fill that Neil did because they're just used to it, or you might like try a different fill and they might be like, oh, like that's a great fill. Like I never thought of that being there. Like thanks, Ben, and we love you.
Yeah.
It's tricky because I feel like my first goal is always to like for no one to look at me. I want people to just be able to focus on themselves and to do the thing that they've been used to. But then there's that thing where like, oh, you want to drop a little bit of yourself into it, and you might get that positive look back, you know. And it's trying to balance out like how much is too much, I think, or what is even the right approach with that in mind. You know, is it better to have them never look at you, or is it better to have them kind of like, oh, I like the little drop of spice? You know, I don't know.
Eric, that's great. I think that's a great way to look at it. Like leaning towards almost wanting to be invisible and not sticking out to start with.
Yes.
You know, like working with Maynard, like I know I'm doing a good job if he doesn't say anything to me. Yeah. It took a while to understand that and want that validation of him looking back like, yeah, but like I realized like if he doesn't say anything to me or like almost even look at me, I'm doing what he needs to be done, you know?
Yeah.
Like the first APC show I did, Greg, the guitarist, like afterwards we walked off stage and we were playing on this really big stage at Sasanta, so like we couldn't even see each other. And, you know, Greg's maybe a little in his head. We walked off stage and he was like, oh, fuck, I didn't even realize it was the first show I picked up after Josh left the tour. And he was like, oh, fuck, I didn't even realize you were playing with us tonight. Which I was like, I think that's a huge compliment. Yeah. Also, like, what? But I took it as a compliment. You know, it's like I jumped in like 14 shows in on that tour, so it's like I think that's the best case scenario where like no one's in their head like it's a different drummer tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping somebody noticed. I took
somebody.
I took it as a compliment.
Well, I mean, that's like an even crazier scenario because did Josh come back and finish? Was it like a back and forth with that?
No, it was a couple of years. It was 2024, so it was like his first summer in the band with Foo Fighters. So
okay,
he did half the tour and then left. And then for the rest of the tour, I did Puscifer and A Perfect Circle. But I only got to rehearse with them like before the tour, which was like 3 weeks before. So it was like literally like,
oh wow.
and they had to rehearse with Josh for that tour. So it was like a week of rehearsals, and then they slipped me in like the last day. So I had maybe one rehearsal with them, and then just like, oh yeah, and then my first show will be in 3 weeks. And I'll get to jump in at that sound check. You know, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one thing to transition drummers between tours, but then to like switch it up. Like that's probably what you really want in that scenario is for them to not notice. Yeah. You know, that's so crazy.
Here's a polarizing statement, not that I believe it or not, but like, what do you guys feel about this? The only time you're really expressing your true voice is when you're improvising by yourself.
I don't know if I like the by yourself aspect at all.
I mean, go on. Again, I was just thinking about this last night. Like,
Did somebody say that, or you?
No. No one sent this. It was almost being a contrarian to what I thought, which is like, when actually am I speaking? Because I was thinking about the question about how much I should go at the first rehearsal and how I'm like, so whenever I'm playing with any other artist or anyone in general, in some way I'm reacting to what they're doing. And so it's not like what is a voice?
Yeah, I just feel like drums are like inherently an accompaniment instrument. We exist to play a supporting role, you know?
Can I push back on that though?
Yeah, no, please.
I mean, the start of drumming was just almost like religious ceremonies, right? Like I don't know the actual origin of drumming, but
or like leading like the fucking troops out to war.
what if the Civil War snare drummer's like, I wouldn't play it this way.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like I'm kind of playing this for Jerry because like he needs me to keep time to like keep the 40,000 troops, but like I'm kind of hearing it a little slower.
So dark.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like the one dude.
Well, Jerry
like,
just died. So now...
oh, Jerry's dead. Let's pull it back a little bit. Jerry was rushing a little bit.
We can all agree that wasn't our tempo. I haven't laughed that hard in a while. Anyways, Eric, you were going to say something like an adult.
R.I.P. Jerry. It's a worthy pushback, and I think I would say, at least if we're talking about drum set specifically, I think that this instrument was designed to provide a foundation for other people to shine. And that's not to say that like drum solos aren't a thing and you can't improvise and you can't play by yourself, but I would just say that 95% of the time, or even higher, you're not in a position where you're improvising by yourself on the drums. Mm-hmm. And I cannot believe that like nobody is using their true authentic voice that much, To me it's like saying my best ideas are when I'm talking to myself, having a conversation with nobody. But I think all our opinions and our personality are formed by our interactions with other people, and I think that music is the same way. Like the way that I play with another musician informs the way that I play, and hopefully vice versa. I truly genuinely think about the drum set as so much of like a conversational type of instrument. Its purpose is to converse with other people. In a lot of ways, without that conversation, it's not as interesting. And again, I don't want to say that like there's a lot of really great drum soloists and clinicians who play by themselves, but I mean, just looking at it face value and going, oh, this is appealing really to only drummers. There's not a lot of laymen who are seeking out like solo drum music and being like, this really speaks to me.
I just had two thoughts on both sides of it. Mm-hmm. My first thought is like, I don't play in a ton of bands where I take drum solos, but the times I do, I always have a thought. It's usually right after the drum solo because I just don't like the way I feel when I play a drum solo. I almost always finish a drum solo and then we go back to the groove, and I immediately think, this is the way I wish I felt when I took a drum solo. Like I personally feel the most creative and like myself when I am playing music with other people. When the music goes away, and it's funny because like when I play the drums, I want everyone in the room to watch me. I have that feeling. It's like I'm kind of like in society, I'm kind of like, please don't look at me. But like when I play the drums, I want everyone to fucking look at me. But when it comes to a drum solo, I usually get hung up on like technique, or like I want to, we all have that thought like, oh, I want to like try to like sneak in that cool thing I was working on, and then it takes me out of it. And the second I'm just like playing a groove, that's like home base. But the other thought I had was kind of the only time I'm playing music by myself is if I'm in my studio recording remote drum sessions for people. And I've often thought about not even pros and cons, but just there's something very different when a producer or an artist sends me a track and I'm by myself. I have time to digest it. I can try some things. It's such a different thing when I'm recording by myself versus I'm in the studio and I'm in the tracking room and the artist or producer's in the control room, and it's just different. And there's a freedom I like about having it be just me in my studio. I have just the tracks. I have time to kind of work on some stuff. I have the option of like recording some stuff that I will delete, that they will never hear, or a crazy take that I'm like, this is really cool, but like they don't even need it. I'm not going to send it. Versus like when you're working on stuff with a producer and artist, like listening to everything you're playing, right? And I feel at times I'm a bit more free, even though I prefer being in the studio. I like having that feedback, and like you get to the point quicker usually where like you can do it at your first take and the producer can be like, oh, do more of that, do less of that. And then sometimes it's like, okay, that was your first take, keep feeling it out. In general, I prefer that to recording on my own, having no one to bounce it off of immediately. Usually I do a test take or two. I try to email it to somebody and say, hey, can you get ears on this sooner than later, so I'm not just... And then some artists are like, hey, just I'm going to send you a song, do 4 takes of what you're hearing, and I'll make it work. You don't even need to send it to me to see if I like it. Mm-hmm. But there is a freedom to, like, when I'm tracking by myself for somebody, that I can feel like the most authentic version of me, because I'm not in my mind thinking someone's listening to this, are they gonna like it? I'm searching for a drum part on this song, providing it's not like we sent you a drum demo and we want you to do this. Like, if just a song, I'm starting from scratch, I have my pedal board out, like I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna be totally like artistic about this right now. And I feel like that's kind of close to your statement, Ben, of times where I feel like I am truly artistic because no one else is around. But in general, I think I am more on kind of like Eric's, not side, there's no sides, but I feel the most like myself playing a drum beat I really know with friends in a band on a song I like. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like a cover or I wrote the drum part, I feel like the most like myself.
That's an interesting take on the question itself. It didn't even occur to me that, like, the idea of creating something that's collaborative, but you're in isolation, is an interesting way to kind of frame that, where it makes a little bit more sense. Because you could even bring that into a live setting where, like, you're the most creative when you're rehearsing the parts that you're going to play for a show. It's like, this is what I'm gonna play, and then you eventually, like, those are all things that you theoretically came up with in isolation.
Yeah.
Which is, it's an interesting, I kind of like it. Now I'm flipping sides.
Your voice, your quote-unquote voice, is like a moving river. Myself, I'm a different person than I was at the beginning of this conversation. Look at, wow. That is beautiful. And then the moon behind you with all the stars.
Oh, it's bees. It's little tiny bees.
No, but it's like playing with other people is like them asking you questions that you never thought about before. Yeah. And so it's like you're reacting in a certain way. Maybe you're doing something for them, but after a while, like, I actually do like how this groove is. Maybe I am this groove.
Yeah. One more thing. So, Ben, you're in the position I was before I started my tour, where you're in the shed, you're working on set drum parts, you're thinking about how you want to play them. Mm-hmm. But no one is around. No one is judging what you're doing. So there's probably times you've played through some of these songs that you're about to like start playing that, like, it honestly might be the best you ever feel playing that song, because there's none of that, like, what do they think? And like, I remember we're playing a whole new record on this tour, and there's a couple times when I was like self-rehearsing that I was like adding a few extra things that I would never try on the gig. But like, I was like, fuck, like, I don't think I'm ever going to play this song technically better than this, but like, that's not really the point of it, right? Like, you want to play it in front of people and with people, but like, you don't have that, like, it's just you're the audience, right? Yeah, it's actually really cool. It's a great question, finally.
It took me 7 years. But going back on the same question, Eric, you do a lot of written out fill videos, like really cool, intricate fills that you're like, God, I'm happy he's explaining it because I lost the one kind of thing, in a cool way. But do you feel like you're expressing yourself more when you're writing those for Instagram or just for yourself than when you're writing a drum beat with a band?
I mean, to me, I view it all the same way. It's more to me about figuring out what is the vocabulary that I'm using and how am I combining that. And that vocabulary could be a paradiddle, could be a fill, it could be a groove. So to me, that's like always my approach with that kind of thing. So it's like the vocabulary aspect and how it comes out as an improvisatory, like how I would just improvise speaking is kind of the priority, and then writing it out comes second.
Eric and I just met in person like a week ago or something.
Yeah.
And he posted this warm-up thing that I was kind of doing a version of my own, just like not really thinking about it, where it's like groups of 3 and then you move your left. Eric could probably explain what it is better, but I had been doing a very similar thing, and in my mind I was actually trying to do a similar, like basically what he posted about, but it was really helpful because he wrote it out. And I don't usually take the time to write things out, but I was like, oh man, I think I was doing at least the first 2 variations of this thing that Eric just posted, and I like I like slowed it down and I like, read through it and I was like, oh yeah, it's this. And I mean, it was really serendipitous and really like interesting that we were both on a similar wavelength. But it was, I don't know where I'm going with this story, but I thought it was really cool to like read out this thing that I wouldn't have taken the time to do. Maybe I could learn from that and try to do that moving forward. But it's a great exercise. It's been really, I'm trying to do a version of it on the drum kit, and wherever there's the missing 16th note in it, add a kick.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I usually try to do a little bit at sound check, but like, it's always like right as I'm getting into it, like the band comes on stage to like sound check, and like the older I get, I don't like playing drums when we were younger, like during sound checks, and even when they were miking the kit, you're just up there, like, like I'm very mindful of like, oh, people are around, they don't want to hear me going, like, no one wants that. So I haven't really gotten to work on it too much. It's going to be cool.
I just have been working on a new version of that where it's offset by 30-second notes. So heads up on that. That's
I don't even know what that
pain.
means, but I can't wait to hear it.
And that's the show. If you're listening on a platform that allows ratings and reviews, do that. It helps more people find the show, so it'll get bigger and better, and hopefully I'll have a chance to sell out one day. But you'll be an OG listener that can brag to all your friends. Anyways, why don't you go and check us out at bigfatsnaredrum.com and follow us on all the socials. Just search for Big Fat Snare Drum and you will find us. The show is edited in part using iZotope RX Audio Editor. It's amazing, so go check that out at iZotope.com. And thanks again to Gunnar Olsen for the theme music. Bye!